here with Paul James, the marketing director for Southwood Landscape and Garden Center, and we are at the Southwood Farm in the All-American Plant Selection Trial Garden.
Yes.
And a lot of people know about All-American Selection, but I don't think that they really know what all goes into that. Can you tell us about this process?
Well, it's a national nonprofit organization, and they trial flowers and vegetables. This is a vegetable trial, the only one in Oklahoma. I'm a national judge, and we are here this year evaluating roughly 30 new vegetable introductions.
Okay.
That no one has tasted before, which is really cool.
Exciting, yes.
And then there's about 60 or so comparisons. So we look at the new introduction and compare that to previous introductions.
Okay, so something that's already on the market, you want to make sure that what you potentially might introduce is better for one reason or another.
Exactly. So I come out, I evaluate lots of things: disease resistance, plant vigor, later in the year hardiness, all kinds of things that we evaluate, but ultimately flavor is the test.
Right.
And that's the most fun.
And so you're not just doing peppers, you're doing eggplants, tomatoes, all sorts of vegetables out here.
Lots of tomatoes, watermelon. We've even had a new rutabaga introduction, believe it or not.
Okay.
I mean, part of me is kind of like, do we really need a new rutabaga? but it was actually a very good rutabaga. Cauliflower, basil, lots and lots of different stuff.
And so are you the only one that gets to taste these and find out if they're good or not?
I'm the only one that gets to make the final judgment about the flavor.
Okay.
But I'll bring in my chef friends, because we do sell a lot of vegetables from Southwood Farm to restaurants here in town. And some of the employees, Farmer Kyle, who runs the farm out here, Kyle Dismukes, he's got a good palate. So yeah, that's the fun part, is we sit there and munch on tomatoes all day long.
Hard work, hard work.
It's tough.
Well, so after a season of growing, then you make your recommendations, and you mentioned there's several gardens like this all over the country.
Yes.
And they're not all growing the same selections either, because there might be some tomatoes that work better in certain areas and some that work better in south. Is that correct?
Yeah, but believe it or not, we're all trialing the same thing.
Okay.
So there are some tomatoes here, for instance, that were particularly bred for colder areas. We know that. So we'll assess how well do they do in the heat of an Oklahoma summer.
Okay.
But more importantly, how do they continue to produce when it does start to get cold? I mean, might they, start to turn from green to red early October, for instance, which would be a wonderful thing. So yeah, we're looking at everything. And it's, I come out here with my notebook and I'm down on the ground and I'm looking under leaves and I'm, just really looking at the overall performance of the plant.
Potential diseases or pests and things like that as well?
Well, one great example, we've got tomatoes galore and no red spider mites, but there's one determinate tomato that just got ravaged by spider mites. None of the surrounding tomatoes were affected. So that's one of the things that I'll be making notations.
It's obviously prone to spider mites.
Exactly, and they're nasty.
Yeah. Okay, well then how quickly will we see some of these out on the market, or are they labeled right now with numbers so you don't know what they are?
That's correct. It's all blind. They're just numbers. So I know what the comparisons are, but I don't know what the trial is.
Okay.
And I don't know where it's from.
Okay.
I don't know what seed hybridizer it comes from or anything. I'm clueless.
Okay.
And that's how it should be. And then toward November, all the judges across the country will submit their answers, their responses, and then there'll be a final determination of what makes the cut and what doesn't.
And do you know what makes the cut, or is it all of a sudden given a name that's different than a number?
That will be announced the following year, and then many of those will be available. If not that year, then the year after, and they'll be labeled as AAS winners, All-America Selection winners.
Right. And so the same thing is done, like you said, with flowers and all of the other non-vegetable plants that you might see as All-American selections.
Yeah, but I'm kind of partial to plants that produce food, so.
Can't argue with that. You think I can try something?
Absolutely. I'd recommend some of the tomatoes. We just harvested this morning, so there may not be a whole bunch of ripe ones, but still, they're tasty.
Well, let's see if we can go find some.
All right.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.